Alright everybody, so this is kind of a weird kid lawn care video. This really isn't about my mowers, but it's about some of the equipment that I use on my mowers, and I made this kind of a big mistake, I don't know, I guess 2 years ago. And the big mistake is I bought a mid-range 3/4 inch or a half-inch impact DeWalt, because just simply I have a bunch of other DeWalt stuff and it doesn't make sense to switch brands. Not so much because you like a particular product, but I already have a bunch of DeWalt batteries, so it didn't make a whole lot of sense to buy like a Milwaukee or whatever. So just as powerful, is my opinion. Picked it up. I was going to say that you can buy all these products at Lowe's, but I've noticed Lowe's is starting to phase out DeWalt stuff. So without further ado, this is what I did. So about this sorry, I keep saying that. This mid-range DeWalt impact. Now, I put the socket on here to squeeze the new hog ring down. But the issue that I was having, and I'll show you, is that I bought the model with a detent. Now these pins, they don't look like they're very hard to get off. You can move it with your finger. Once you put a socket on here, they are extremely difficult to get a socket off of. And I use this frequently on my mowers to change the blades out. I use it on really a lot of stuff. I used it to do some of my garage door work. But let me show you a very simple way to fix this. Now I don't have the laptop pulled up, but what I did is I scoured the internet and I found out that this is probably a fairly new product because I could not find parts for it anywhere on any aftermarket website. I was kind of starting to lose faith because I wanted to change that anvil, this anvil right here, to a hog ring. Simply because the hog ring, you can take the socket on and off far easier. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it since it's new. Yep, there we go. Which is kind of an interesting deal because it's got a hole all the way through it, so I'm guessing, well, I don't know why that's that way. I'm not even going to try and act like I know it's that way, but let's put the socket back on because that'll get a tip for you. It was with new hog rings, which I purchased one because I didn't realize it came with it, which these are cheap. So I just throw it in my toolbox with all my other backups. But to change this anvil over, take out these 4 screws, and the anvil itself, it's not the same as a lot of the other half-inch XRs, and I just put this in PVC plastic, so that's nice. But most of them don't have this disc right here. So what I did is I went to DeWalt's website, and I realized that you can order parts from them. So I found out that this number right here, this DCF 894, there's also a version that's a DCF 894H, and H is hog ring. So what I did is I simply just typed in DCF 894 and then added H to it. There's also an HB, and I guess the difference is an HB means it's a tool only, so it does not include a battery. I don't know if that's what B stands for, batteryless, whatever. But I typed that in, and I think the anvil, if I remember right, was only like $19. And you know, I was on eBay looking for one of these that was damaged, and maybe I could just take the anvil off and put it on this one. But like I said, it seems like it's kind of a fairly new product, and I had a really difficult time. So with shipping and that, it was right about 30 bucks. And 30 bucks, I was able to swap this thing out, and I can pull the socket way on, or pull the socket on and off way easier. So that's just something I've dealt with today, which that only took about maybe a minute to swap that out. It's very easy. There's no springs, there's no surprises in here. You just take this cap off. The anvil's most likely going to come with it. You just pull it out, put a new one on, make sure it's sitting on the cog gears, and put it back on, and you're done. But since I haven't made a video for a while, I wanted to throw this up really quick. Just some updates. I still have my snapper. It's in storage. Really have no use for it at this point because I have an Exmark. And the reason I got the Exmark wasn't because it's an Exmark. To be honest with you, I kind of hate these machines. They handle great, in my opinion. They're not super responsive, but they're good. It's an ultra cut deck, and these things, they're pretty flawless as far as leaving a cut. Kind of an interesting series. It's an XS, and I didn't realize this, but the XS comes with a 31 horsepower Vanguard, and the frame is different. The gas tanks are different. I mean, they're slightly different because they're notched out back here. Um, Comes with a suspension seat, and the pumps, unlike the other lasers, I don't know if you can see it, but they come with fans mounted to the front of their pumps, which kind of leads me to believe they're bigger pumps. I haven't actually looked this up, so I'm not going to like make up something. But I got it because it came with a bagger. I have an Ultravac bagger. So price is pretty good. It's a pretty solid machine. So I plan on using that during the fall. And it's a 60. I've never ran a 60. I've always been a fan of 52s. And we ran both of these this last weekend, and just about every yard that I did was probably down to like 30 minutes. And most of my yards, they're pretty big yards. A few of them are small, but they range from anywhere from a quarter to an acre to 2 to 3 acres. So this really shaved down time a lot using that instead of my Snapper 48 and my ZK52. Trying to think what else has really changed lately. As far as equipment wise, I mean, I picked up a 91R. And that thing's also phenomenal. I was going to get another 94, but I don't know, for some reason I wanted a 91, so I got a 91. Love it. I got rid of my 70 because I just felt like the 70 wasn't enough. I actually just picked this up not that long ago, and like it's sitting, whatever. It's a 240 brush cutter. I've just got that blade on there right now, but I've had a Speedfeed 450 with a 130 line in it, and that thing will never stop revving. I mean, you can bury it and it just doesn't slow down. I thought that was going to be slightly more powerful than that, and it is not even close to the same thing. This is uncomparable, and this is a very, very, very good weed eater. This is a Echo SRM 280 that I bought off my buddy. Kind of wanted to play with. I love how Echoes sound, but I'm not completely blown away by the performance of this thing. It acts kind of more like a 111. But it's just kind of there as a beater. So it's going to be my extra in case I need it. It runs pretty good. I may have the wrong carburetor on it. I did get it from Amazon. God knows this thing's, I'm assuming they're sized correctly, but who knows. But I don't know. Obviously there's the new truck because the other one died. I don't know. I can't really think of a lot to say. I've been busy. Almost every day I've been mowing, it seems. And when I'm not mowing, I'm doing a quote for another mowing job, or I'm doing a quote for a code violation, or I'm doing a quote the other day that I just did one for 6 houses in a row. So I'm to the point now where I'm ready to hire somebody instead of, my buddies helping me, or, my nephew, or whoever wants to help me on one particular day. I've also started, let me flip the camera around so I don't know why we're staring at mowers, but I've also started my training for turf management, so we're going to start doing some fertilizing and weed killing and stuff like that probably next year. I don't know how soon you can get licensed for that kind of stuff, but I'm just slowly reading the book. I want to make sure I take down as much information as I possibly can. I've been kind of messing around with a couple products. I've got some Gordon's LV Max, which is basically grass killer, or not grass killer, but it's weed killer for clover and thistle, broadleaf stuff. And real quick, this was kind of my test plot, and this was like a little over a week ago, probably 2 weeks ago maybe. There's nothing. There's no clover. There's nothing. You look over here. I just sprayed this today. It's got some tracer dye on it, so it looks a little greener. But I also sprayed my neighbor's yard 4 days ago because he was wanting me to help out. And like I said, really I was wanting to test this stuff out and see if it's pretty good. It's something I plan on using, and it works fantastic. So anyway, just a quick update video for those who are watching. Oh, another thing that I did that I'm going to put a video out of eventually is I got a Northern Baffle kit for my standard ZK. Now, those of you who don't know what it is, it's a baffle kit that goes in there and replaces the current baffles in your ZK. Now, the easiest way to tell, Northern Baffle kit's got reinforcements on the front of it. It looks nothing like a factory one, and it's designed to get tighter to the blades to increase the airflow. Think more like an Ultracut, Velocity Plus, something like that. It's just a discharge cool season grass like fescue, Kentucky bluegrass, St. Augustine. That's pretty good at throwing that out. But my problem was this spring, Grass is growing real thick and wet. It was occasionally leaving clumps, and I just kind of chalked that up to, well, it's wet grass. It just rained today, which I think that's still kind of an issue in the springtime when it's growing 3-4 inches in a week. But I put that on there, and that drastically changed how that thing worked. I wasn't having to mow yards 3 or 4 times, and all of a sudden it was like down to 2 times, sometimes 1 time, depending on, how bad it looked. I'm one of those guys that if I can see the grass laying on the grass from a distance, I'll just go ahead and mow it again. I don't charge extra for that. I'm more about quality. I probably should charge extra for that because it's extra time, but the way I look at it, the extra time you spend in the spring is really like less time that you spend in the summer, and even less time that you spend in the fall here. So in my opinion, it kind of evens out. I'm not going to rip somebody off just for that reason. But everybody does stuff different, and I'm not going to judge you for doing it the way that you do. But thank you for watching, and I'll try to put some footage out of my Northern Baffle kit. I've got some GoPro footage, and I'll try to get some footage of Laser Z running around. These things are really great machines. This one's only got 1,100 hours. You see these frequently on Facebook and stuff for like $3,500, $4,000, something like that. There's a couple of things to look at, like the dampers always wear out on them, so the controls are kind of jerky, but that's really nothing to be concerned about. And particularly, it seems like these models, they're just not that real easy to work on. I don't know why. It just seems like a lot of stuff seems like it's in really oddball places, but that's kind of a nice thing too, is that once you usually fix stuff on them, it never breaks again. Now, one thing I got to fix that's incredibly annoying is the tires that are on here. They're 24 by 12 by 12, and I bought the same existing set, and come to find out that the deck was still too low. It's about an inch lower than what it reads. Now, I figured out the reason for this. It's because when I was fumbling around going through the manual, just kind of doing stuff I do when I get bored, looking up specifications, let me set the camera down so I'm stop moving. I realized very quickly that wasn't the right tire size, because the problem was the deck doesn't need to be doesn't need to be raised. The actual problem was that the whole body needed to go up, and the only way to change that is put the tires that are supposed to be on it, which is 26s by 12 by 12. And that will give it the proper height that it's supposed to be at. Now, the biggest problem I had with this wasn't so much that it was an inch lower than it reads, because the right, you can change the blade spacing and all that kind of stuff. That's not a big deal. My problem was that every time I went to pull my trailer, the deck keeps hitting it. And because it's too low, I can't get it transported on the trailer easily sometimes. So I believe the new tires are going to be here tomorrow. Going to throw them on. Should be able to have everything completely fine. And that way, if I throw somebody on there, they can put it to the number that it's supposed to be in the notes, and that way it's not having to remember this mower is an inch lower, this mower is a ½ inch lower, this mower is this particular style. So I try to make everything as simple as I possibly can. That's the other reason I keep buying steel stuff. It's not so much that I like steel stuff, which I do, but the bigger thing is that I want everything to be the same. I want everything to feel the same. I want everything to be in the same area, the same type of tools needed. Something breaks or whatever, it's all at the same location. I'm not driving around to different dealers trying to order stuff and fix things. I don't really know what the word is that I'm looking for. I just want everything to be nice and uniform. So anyway, that's all I got for you today. I'm out watching my kids. I don't know what they're doing inside, but they're being quiet, so they're probably painting all over the walls. So I guess I should probably go. Anyway, but thanks for watching, and I'll try to throw some more videos up of mowing here real shortly.